Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the workshop and launch of the research report on economic justification of OSH programs in the construction sector. My name is Fitri, and I am delighted to be your host during this event. We would like to thank all of you for your support and for making time to attend this event. It is an honor for me to introduce and welcome our distinguished guests, both at our table and online platform. Director General of Labor Inspection and OSH Development, Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia. Director General of Factories and General Labor Law Department, Ministry of Labor, Myanmar. Representative from ASEAN Secretariat and Chamber of Commerce of Indonesia. First of all, I would like to invite Director General, Factories and General Labor Law Department, Ministry of Labor, Myanmar, to present his remarks. Mr. Tin Koko, the floor is yours.
ASEAN Secretariat, ASEAN OSNET Secretariats, the representatives of the Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia, all participants from ASEAN OSNET members, and ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of you health, body, and peace of mind a very good morning. Indeed, this is the greatest honor and pleasure for me to deliver the opening remarks as ASEAN OSNET Chair. I would like to thank to the Ministry of Human Resources of Indonesia, Department of Labor Inspection, Occupational Safety and Health Development for its great effort to bring this research report. Ladies and gentlemen, the construction sector is an important business for the country's development, and this research report on the economic justification of occupational safety and health programs in the construction sector is very beneficial to enhance OSH culture in the construction sector. Many hazards have in the construction sector, and the risk level is obviously high for the workers. And the International Labour Organization's data, the worldwide at least 60,000 construction workers die in the construction workplace annually. In order to implement a better occupational safety and health system in the construction sector, there are many challenges we'll face. One of the important points is the different types of workers, such as permanent workers, contract workers, and daily workers are employed in the construction workplace. Generally, most of the workers in the construction workplace are basic workers and migrant workers. Therefore, they have insufficient occupational safety and health knowledge. As a result, it can affect the workers' cooperation in implementing programs on the prevention of occupational injuries and occupational disease in the construction workplace. Moreover, employers hesitate to use the budget in the implementation of occupational safety and health management system because accident prevention programs are usually too costly and have not received adequate attention. They think it is just an expense, and they did not recognize the benefits that they receive by implementing occupational safety and health protection programs. It is important to initiate the information on cost and benefit analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, By conducting this research report, employers can see the benefits for conducting occupational safety and health management system. It will be useful to encourage the employer for implementing occupational safety and health program in the construction sector. The findings and recommendations of this research will support the development of a prevention program for occupational accidents. The participants will have a chance to know about statistics on occupational accidents, best practices, and programs on occupational safety and health. Expense used for occupational safety and health, implementation programs of ASEAN countries. I believe you can develop better ways. Last but not least, your inputs and recommendations are very important in order to complete a research report. I hope that participants will have a very good discussions in today's program. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, sir. We will continue to hear. We will continue to hear opening remarks from the Director General of Labor Inspection and Occupational Safety and Health Development, Madam Hayani Rumondang. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Distinguished representative and national expert from Asian member states, distinguished representative of Asian OSNET Secretariat, distinguished representative of Asian Secretariat, distinguished ILO expert Ms. Yuka Ujita, distinguished lead experts Mr. Hardianto Iridia Study and team, distinguished representative of Indonesian Occupational Health Doctors Associations or IDKI, distinguished senior officials from Ministry of Manpower Republic of Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you here. First of all, let us praise the presence of Allah, the Almighty God. Because of His blessing, we are given the opportunity to follow this virtual meeting of workshop and launch of research report on economic justifications of occupational safety and health, or OSH program in the construction sector. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 pandemic has had a profound impact on nearly every aspect, not just a health crisis, but a social and economic one as well. It has disturbed the economies and labor markets globally. The restriction on community activities, closure of businesses, lockdowns, and impacts on global supply chains have resulted in high levels of unemployment, a loss in working hours, precarious employment, even threatened with poverty for many workers. Construction sector, without exceptions, are also affected. The coronavirus pandemic affected the Asian region's economy. Construction sector was shut down in some Southeast Asian countries such as Vietnam, the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. This is according to Market Research Southeast Asia, July 2020. 2021. And it has been predicted that construction sector in Asian countries should recover in 2022, as it is the main sector in the Asian region to boost the economy. In order to support the economic recovery of construction sector, concern on OSH implementations in construction sector needs to be strengthened. One of the objectives of the research on economic justification of OSH program in the construction sectors is to strengthen OSH by gaining knowledge and experience on how economic rationale can be employed to justify the implementation of safety and health program in the workplace and be used further in persuading and motivating the management of national construction company as well as to carefully evaluate their OSH programs. Ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN OSNet has a strong commitment in improving safety and health in the workplace. Based on the ASEAN OSNet Work Plan 2021 to 2025, Indonesia as Program Coordinator of Research has followed up research on the economic justifications to OSH implementation in the construction sectors. This research has been conducted through several activities. First is a pilot project was conducted by Indonesia in 2018 to 2019, aiming at evaluating OSH programs among a few construction companies from an economic perspective. Second, a preliminary workshop was held in Indonesia in 2018, which finalized the title of the project, Research on Economic Justification of OSH Implementation in Construction Sector. This project was later endorsed in 2019 during the 19th ASEAN OSNet CBM held in Cambodia, and it was agreed that the project would be funded by the Asian Development Fund. The first workshop of research on economic justification of OSH program in the construction sector held virtually in 13 to 14 October 20 and 21, with the main agenda to obtain input related to exploring problems in obtaining data and informations and gaining agreement on the research methodology. And the fourth is the second workshop of research on economic justification of OSH programs in the construction sectors is implemented virtually today, 13 December 20 and 22, with the main agenda to launching and publications the results. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, through this second workshop of this research, it is expected that each Asian member countries can gain valuable insights on the current state of safety and health in each country and learn success factors as well as challenges faced when implemented safety and health in the workplace. Hopefully, this activity can increase close cooperations between Asian member countries and also with other Asian partners by upholding the spirits of togetherness in OSH activities in Asian countries. Finally, I express my gratitude to all relevant parties who have contributed to the implementation of these second workshops. On behalf of the Ministry of Manpower Republic Indonesia and with saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open workshop and launch of research report on economic justifications of OSH program in construction sector. I wish all of you provide a fruitful discussion and general benefits for all. Thank you. Wallahul muwafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for your enlightening remarks, Madam. Please stay on the stage. We kindly invite the Director of OSH Testing and also of OSH Institutions to come on the stage, please. Now, this is the time for the official launch of the research report on economic justification of OSH programs in the construction sector. You may touch the screen, please. Yes. Yes. Okay. Look at the camera. Please give a warm applause on the official launch of the research report on economic justification of OSH program in the construction sector. Please stay on the stage, Madam. Okay. Thank you. As you're please stay on the stage first, Madam, because we will have a group photo session. And prior to this, as your information, the documents will be available on ebook version at the ASEAN Secretariat website. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a group photo now. For those who join virtual, please kindly open your camera, and all the offline participants kindly stand up and look into the camera near the exit window. And now, I would like to invite all delegates for the photo session. Please, Madam and Sir, you may have in the center, please. So the first photo, it will have 3 times photos. So the first time for the formal photos taken. Oh, okay. We kindly invite also Bapak Hardianto Iridiastadi to come on the stage, please. And also from the Chamber of Commerce Indonesia, Bapak Gama Anom, please stay on the stage. You may join with the Madam DG and also the Director, please. Okay, the formal photos. 1, 2, 3, cheese. And the second. Thumbs up with the thumbs up. 1, 2, cheese. Yeah, and the last one. The third photo. 1, 2, cheese. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you all delegates. Would you please to take your seat again? Because we are going to start the session shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, on this session, I would like to invite Dr. Yuka Ujita from ILO. She will present OSH issues in the construction sector among ASEAN countries and the importance on economic justification implementation. Dr. Yuka, I will leave this session on your hand for 15 minutes without Q&A, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that kind of organization, but actually, it was great. Thank you. And the distinguished guests and colleagues and all our partners, very good morning. And first of all, thank you very much for inviting the ILO to participate in this excellent lounge event, and also the taking opportunity to listen, learn about the result of the very important, very interesting research. I'm so excited to listen to the presentation. After my presentation, so I'm a little bit like a guinea pig is the first speaker, but in any case, let me share my screen first. Okay, and the theme of my presentation is the OSH issues in construction. And I was given, I understand, 50 minutes. So let's start. In fact, the last year, October 2021, I had another opportunity to participate in the workshop on this research, and I made a presentation like this. This is the outline of my previous presentation, so I don't want to repeat the same thing. And today, the result of the research will be presented shortly, and let me assume the OSH activities, OSH measures would be justified, economically justified through this research. So what we have to do next when the OSH activities is justified, that would be the my theme. So today I will talk about then what kind of hazards and risks we have to address through the OSH measures, OSH activities, and also what kind of concrete activities we can take, and some suggestions, proposal from the ILO. Okay, and let me start from the global figure of the impact of occupational global burden, the impact of the work-related disease and injury. And the ILO, jointly with the WHO, we produced the estimate of the work-related burden disease injury. We picked up 19 occupational risk factors. I will show you later in a few minutes, a few seconds. And the result was every year, almost 2 million people die from the work-related disease due to only 19 risk factors, right? And regarding the daily is something showing the use for the public health. Daily is the years lost of healthy life. Okay, so due to the exposure to some risk factor, workers lose or would lose their healthy year, healthy life. That is the daily. So you can see 90 million years are lost due to work-related disease. Okay, and what about the Southeast Asia? In totally, we have the more than 600,000 deaths, and also we lose the 29, almost 30 million healthy year. And what kind of risk factor we focused on? This is the list. I'm sorry, this slide is a little busy, but as you can see, And please imagine, please consider what kind of hazards listed here the workers in construction sector are exposed to. Unfortunately, we don't have the ILO and WHO, we don't have the estimate by sector, by economic activity, but we know what kind of work is carried out in construction site. So let's see. For example, the asbestos, yes, construction workers exposed to the asbestos, yeah, very likely. And all these chemical, more or less, the construction workers may face to these risks factor. And also these ranging exhaust or the silica perhaps. And you see, for example, this one, occupational gas, the particulate matter, gases and fumes. And you see this attribute to the death due to work-related disease, and likely the construction worker exposed to these hazards. And of course, the construction workers has a lot of injuries, and it's tend to work for long hours, yeah? And we estimated more than 700,000 people die due to ischemic heart disease and stroke from the long working hours. And what about the daily healthy life? Again, asbestos and some chemical exposure. And you see the exposure to gas and fumes also contribute to the loss of the healthy life. And now we see the noise and ergonomic factors. Noise and ergonomic factors does not lead to the death usually, but it's attribute to the loss of the healthy life and injury. You see, this is the huge number, and also long working hours. And when we a little bit further, the more detailed exposure and the health outcome, due to the exposure to asbestos at the workplace, many people die from cancer. But not only one kind of cancer, a lot of cancer, lung cancer, ovary cancer, larynx, and the mesothelioma. Yeah, these number of death and the loss of the healthy life. And what about the exposure to particulate matter, gas, and fumes? And usually is resulted to the COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And this is also the huge impact on health, a lot of death, and also a lot of loss of the healthy life. And injury, for example, we picked up the couple of several types of injury, but in the construction sector, falls is very common, right? And the people die, 35,000 people die globally from falls at work. And in addition to that, very recently, ILO is working with other international organizations regarding the impact of occupational exposure to air pollution. And this is some of the pickup that research activities. This is the the years of life lost is the daily due to exposure to air pollution by country. And the green one is the light blue, green is female, and the dark green is male. And as you can see, many people exposed to air pollution. You know that in Southeast Asia, in any case, the population exposed to air pollution, we cannot avoid air pollution when we are outside. And there's some people exposed to air pollution occupationally. And this is the result. And from the research, most of the cause, the occupational exposure is manufacturing and the construction, right? So you see the air pollution's impact
to occupational safety and health is big. We cannot ignore. But how can we prevent exposure to air pollution? Because construction workers or the agriculture workers, they have to work outside, right? So we have to take very concrete, innovative action based on the result of the research to be presented later. Okay, challenge is that we can see the construction workers is due to the lot of hazardous work tasks and also a lot of social factors. Maybe I hope the research results showed some social factors as well, right? But still we are lacking of the data, reliable data on occupational accident, injuries, and disease. So what kind of action we can take? The ILO has the global strategy on OSH, and I present this slide very, very often at the ASEAN OSHNet workshop. So maybe I can skip, but the very short main pillar of the global strategy is the preventative safety and health culture for all workers, all sectors, including the construction workers. And the second pillar is the systems approach. Already at the opening remark, the director emphasized the OSH management system. Systems approach is the continuous improvement of OSH, that is OSH management system. And this is the element of the systems approach at the national level, how to apply OSH management system at the national level. This diagram, I very often, almost every time, I present this diagram at the ASEAN OSHNet, so maybe I can skip, but the important point today is the integration of protection of workers in construction into the national OSH programs. Today we know we will learn about the importance of the prevention in the construction. So the ILO's suggestion, I would suggest to integrate the OSH in construction site, construction sector in your national OSH program. How? Let me share just one example from Japan. Japan has the long history having the national OSH programs. Now, current year, they are doing the 13th national OSH program. And one of the priority area of this program is the construction site. And this program is based on data. In fact, these national OSH programs combine the national OSH profile and the program, plan of action. And based on this data, maybe this is very small and difficult to see, but this is the change in fatal accident in construction site from year to year. This is the 9th program, 10th, 11th, 12th. So this is the 20 years trend of the accident data, right? And based on these data, the Japan prioritized the OSH in construction, as you can see, falling to a lower level, right? Or the safety measure during demolition work. So like this, you may want to include construction safety into your own national OSH program. And what kind of activities you can include? Please use our tool, ILO's tool. In fact, OSH in construction is one of the priority area of the ILO. So when you visit our website, you can find a lot of tools on construction sector. This is the some page to collect the policy framework, international labor standards in the construction, code of practice, training materials, and this is the very specific page for the inspector and also other stakeholders to based on the hazards or the work process what kind of action can be taken. For example, slips and trips. Why is dealing with slips and trips important? What do employers have to do, and how can they do it? So you can get all the information through the website. And this is also another training tools on ocean construction. This is very famous WISCOM, the small construction site participatory action-oriented training tool. Already in ASEAN countries, many countries apply this WISCOM methodology. Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, many countries, so Indonesia, many countries already apply this WISCOM. And this guide is made by the ILO as well as ISSA. And this is the very unique guidance, is the just picture, no text, only picture, and show the very concrete action. And this is the guidelines for the inspectors in construction, right? So the ILO will be very, very happy, pleased to assist you when you need. So let's work together, join together, and prevent accident, disease in the construction site. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to you, Chair.
Dr. Yuka, please give a warm applause for Dr. Yuka. On the following agenda, I would like to invite our regional consultant, Hardianto Iridiastadi, PhD CPE. Dr. Iridiastadi received his PhD degree from Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University in the US. He also received his CPE from BCPS USA in 2016. He currently is with the Industrial Engineering Department, Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. He has been appointed as the lead consultant for this project. Dr. Iridiastadi, you may have the floor, please.
I'm hoping that all is well with you, and hopefully everyone who attends this meeting can hear me well. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Hardianto Iridiastadi, and this morning I would like to present our final report on the project. Let me share my screen. Give me just 1 second. All right, let me go ahead and present our findings. First of all, I would like to share the screen here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, is this on? And everybody can see this clearly. All right, we would like to present the final report on the research on economic justification of occupational safety and health implementation in the construction sector. And today, I would like to provide a number of items. First of all, I would like to provide the introduction, and then followed by research objectives and procedures. And then we also highlight the results, and later we will provide the findings, implications, as well as conclusions based on this research. First of all, it has been mentioned earlier that the construction industry, and is in particular within the Southeast Asia region, has enjoyed a substantial growth, and this has been experienced by most of the Asian member states. However, the construction sector remains one of the most hazardous places to work, with high numbers of occupational incidents and fatality in the workplace. And this issue has been faced by all, if not most, of the Asian member states. One of the major challenges that we are facing is that many managers, many company owners feel that the costs of implementing occupational safety and health is something that cannot be afforded, and it has to be at the minimum level. Many construction companies typically are hesitant in implementing OS programs, and they would perceive that such programs are costly. And again, in many countries, only OS programs that are designed to meet national regulations can be implemented. The challenge can be overcome if we can carefully examine the benefits of OS programs that potentially can outweigh its costs. These are our objectives and procedures on meeting the objectives. First of all, the objective is to conduct a systematic approach in determining the benefit of OS program, in particular within the construction sector from an economic perspective. We would like also to try to gain benefit by having knowledge and experience on how economic rationale can be employed. And lastly, we aim this project on persuading and motivating the management of national construction companies. The research procedure is as follows. First of all, we have developed a set of questionnaires, and this questionnaire was given to each company respondent by the national expert. We originally planned to have all 10 Asian member states. However, only 8 can participate in this project. The questionnaire has been designed to be distributed online, and it was originally expected that each of the ASEAN member states can provide 6 respondents. Each of the companies that are involved in this study can propose and select one major OS program that had been done in the past, and they are asked to provide the costs as well as benefits that were relatively easy to be explicitly stated and quantified. On the right-hand side, you could see the cover of our questionnaire. Basically, this is the methodology that we are using. On the left, we could see conceptually, this is the safety training program, for example, and then how such program can, first of all, probably increase awareness and knowledge. It can also result in other effects. Hopefully, these effects can lead to improved safety behavior, which in turn leads to reduced number of incidents, injuries, fatalities, and ill health problems in the workplace. The challenge that we were facing is how we could quantify these effects, for example, here on the left here, as well as improved safety behavior, because most of these effects are difficult to quantify, and we have to have certain knowledge and sufficient understanding on how to improve all this into quantified effects. This is graphically to explain to all of you that we could have some investment on OS program, and this is represented by the costs down here. For example, we have a couple of activities that we have to spend, and in addition to that, we could rape some benefits here, labeled here, benefits. We could probably have benefits along the duration of the construction. And if we all move this or transform all this into the net present value, then we could have a positive net present value or a negative net present value. If we have positive value, this means that the benefit cost ratio is greater than 1. As opposed to that, if we have net present value that is negative, then that means the PCR value or ratio is less than 1. So these are the ASEAN member states that participated in this project. But again, as I mentioned earlier, Brunei Darussalam and Myanmar did not participate in this project. We originally expect to have 6 participants or respondents from each country, and as we can see here, we have 5 samples from Cambodia, 6 from Indonesia, and we have 6 from Laos, and then we received 8 from Malaysia. Thank you, and this is I would like to appreciate at the moment for Malaysia to be able to collect more than 6 that is required. And then we have 7 from Philippines. Thanks again for Philippines for having these respondents. And from Singapore, we collected 5 respondents. We received 6 from Thailand and 5 from Vietnam. So in total, we have received 48 samples or 48 sets of data from 8 ASEAN member states. We would like to show the results. First of all, for Cambodia, we could see that the benefit cost ratio is 1.25 for a small size company, and 2.4 for medium size company, and 1.8 for large size company. Next is for Indonesia. We have the benefit cost ratio of 2.7 approximately for the small size company, and 4.2 for the medium size company, and 1.12 for the large size company. Again, I would like to point out here that any benefit cost ratio greater than 1 is considered projects that can be implemented in the workplace. So what we can see from Indonesia perspective, for example, or from this example, that most of the companies, regardless of the size, have a BCR greater than 1, which is good. And in this picture, we could see that the medium-sized company has the greatest BCR. Next is for Lao PDR. We could see that for the small-sized company, the BCR is 2.4, whereas the medium-sized company has a BCR of 1.3. From Malaysia, we could see a somewhat different pattern here, in that for the small size company, the BCR is 1.4 approximately. For the medium size company is 1.5, whereas the large size company is associated with a much larger BCR, which is 4.1. For the Philippines, it is also interesting that they have probably the greatest BCR comes from the Philippines, which is 6.2. However, they also have one of the lowest BCR values if we compare across ASEAN member states. In this case, if you see the table on the right here, the BCR is 0.34. So this is, I believe, is one of the lowest or the smallest BCR across nations. From this Singapore, we received 2 sets of data, and for the medium-sized company, the BCR is 0.6. Again, as I mentioned earlier, any BCR less than 1 is considered programs that are not good to be implemented in the workplace. But again, it can be discussed later on. And for the large-size company, the average is 1.02. For Thailand, approximately for the small size company, the BCR is 2.2. For the medium size company, 1.8. And for the large size company is 2.4. For the Vietnam, probably, let me check here, but this is one of the greatest BCR. Is obtained from the small size company. The average is 7.7. Whereas for the medium-sized company, the BCR is 3.8, and for the large-sized company is 3.1. Again, we could see here, but regardless of the size of the companies, all the BCRs are much greater than 1 actually. So we would like to show results across all nations. So if we take a look at the BCR, or the benefit cost ratio by size, we could see that the small size company has an average of 2.34 with the greatest value of 7.7. For the medium-sized company, the average is 1.7, and the greatest is 5.8 approximately. And for the, for the large-sized company, the average is 2.95 with the greatest value of 11.115. I believe this comes from the Philippines. The last number has been obtained from the Philippines. What we can see here is we originally hypothesized that there will be a correlation between size of the companies with the BCR values. However, from this study, we did not find such a phenomenon. So even though there are differences between BCR values across the types of or the size of the company, it's not correlated as we hypothesized earlier. This is the graph showing the BCR across all countries participated in this study. So this is for Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Laos PDR, the Philippines, and Vietnam. As we could see here, I have already pointed out earlier that Singapore probably has the narrowest BCR range of BCR values, and the greatest range was obtained from the Philippines. I believe the BCR value from the Philippines is probably one of the smallest, and the greatest value has been obtained from the Philippines as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to point out here BCR values by OS project. Here we are showing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of projects here, starting from campaign and then hazard identification, risk control, and the use of PPE, and then safety meetings, supervisions, training, as well as updated or the use of technology. You could see here that across all types of projects, OS projects, you could see that supervision is probably the one that is associated with the largest BCR. However, this is not a straightforward conclusion, in a sense that if we take a look at the result here, even though that supervision provides the greatest number, it also is associated with one of the lowest BCR values. However, it is our belief that the program associated with supervisions, for example, will require a minimal amount of money, and we could expect to receive much greater benefits from this type of project. Let me continue with the major findings and implications. First of all, we would like to highlight that the BCR analysis requires that all costs and benefits can be transformed and quantified into monetary values. And this is certainly a challenge to all of us, since the quantification of benefits are often difficult because most of them are qualitative in nature. So there has to be certain knowledge on understanding how we could quantify all the benefits or the effects into monetary values. Companies, we are suggesting here that companies need individuals or external consultants with knowledge on technical aspects of safety, risks, and economic analysis. OS programs can be justified from an economic point of view when all the costs and benefits resulting from a program can be meticulously identified and quantified. So this is one of the major requirements that all of us in doing this type of study, they have to be able to, again, identify and quantify all of the costs as well as benefits. In our experience, understanding costs is probably more straightforward compared to understanding the benefits and then quantify the benefit effects. So what we would like to suggest here is that we have to have a carefully planned and designed OS program to be implemented and executed in the workplace. Such methodology actually can be used in selecting if we, for example, have a number of OS programs and we are forced in kind of rank or to select which one of the OS programs should be implemented first. And by using this methodology, we could actually select which of the OS program can be executed first. Next in our presentation, we would like to also point out that the characteristics of an OS program are highly dependent on the type of the structure being built. Construction has a number of types or programs that can be implemented in the workplace, but also it will be dependent upon, or the success of the program will be dependent upon the type of the facilities or structure being built. In addition, some companies are involved with short-term projects, for example, such as building houses, while others will be dealing with long-term projects, such as construction projects, such as a high-speed railway infrastructure. All these will result in differences in types of costs and benefits that need to be examined, and differences in project time horizon, which consequently lead to differences in how the economic analysis is performed. We would like also to underline here, one of the major challenges is in determining whether an OS program will result in benefits that can be used in more than one projects. In that particular case, the benefits or the cost should be divided equally or in proportion according to the number of projects being to be done in the future. I believe this is our last slide. So the nature of the construction industry could be different across nations, resulting in differences in the focus of the OS program. We know, for example, in Brunei Darussalam, for example, they have used a number of migrant workers, whereas in Indonesia, we usually use many people from locally or nationally. So the difference in the culture, for example, could also result in differences in cost and benefits, and also in which type of OS programs that could be focused on. Each ASEAN member states may have unique national culture and characteristics that can influence how an OS program in the construction industry can be suitably and effectively designed and implemented. We would like to conclude here, first of all, that most OS programs can be justified from an economic perspective. We have shown here in this study that the methodologies that we are using, in particular the net present value that can be later on transformed into benefit cost analysis or benefit cost ratio, can be used as a viable tool in determining which OS program should be implemented in the workplace. Such methodologies can be used by managers and company owners in also ranking the types of OS programs to be implemented in the workplace. It is important for us to carefully identify and quantify costs and particularly benefits in this methodology. Lastly, our results show that the result from this study can be used to persuade and to motivate company owners and project managers in improving workplace safety and health. Let me provide one closing remark here. I was just copying from Ms. Yuka Ujita, who was just presented earlier. I would like to point out here in the bottom of the page here that safety and health are human rights. So regardless of whatever the BCR that we have, please remember that safety and health are human rights. So it is morally acceptable for all of us, to improve workplace conditions by conducting any OS programs that can be implemented in the workplace. With that, I'm done with my presentation, and let me get back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Iris Diastadi, for your clear explanation. And distinguished delegates, we will now have a health break for 15 minutes. Please kindly be seated in this room at 10:15. Thank you.
Ini isu kan makin
As our program will commence shortly, we kindly invite all participants to take your seat, please. Thank you. Distinguished delegates, for the following session, I would like to invite Mr. Abdul Hakim from ILO Jakarta as the moderator of this session. Mr. Abdul Hakim, you have an hour. Include Q&A session, please.
Test, test, okay. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, online and offline. Good morning, friends of ASEAN. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This morning we would like to listen to share views and also wish from 4 people who are invited to become to provide share and views in relation to the costs and benefits of OSH in construction sector research, which was presented by Dr. Hardianto Iridia study. Actually, I just would like to repeat what we have listened or we have known from the beginning in the morning, that these activities is part of serial activities which have been conducted since 2018 and up to now. So today is the 4th activities which would like to gain valuable insights from research which was conducted or implemented by Dr. Hardianto Istiadi, and then also we can learn success factors from the research. That's what also explained by Ibu Hayani Rumondang, our DG this morning. And this morning also we understand from Yuka Ujita, my colleague from ILO Bangkok. She presented what ILO and WHO reported in 2016, which mentions about the deaths and also disability adjusted life years issues. And she mentioned that ergonomic silica, particulate matters, exposed to long working hours and also occupational injuries are dominant in relation with the occupational safety and health issues in the construction sector. She even mentioned that asbestos, particulate matter, and also occupational injuries have have some risks and hazards, especially asbestos will affect to the body, the cancer, and also particulate matters also about the chronic pulmonary diseases and falls for occupational injuries. From Yuka, we have also understood that air pollution is a very dangerous situation where manufacturing industries and construction sectors are top for largest sources, and especially in relation with the particulate matters 2.5 emission. From Dr. Hardianto, we know that his research mentioned about the research, and then his research respondent consisted of the small, medium, and largest companies in the 48 respondents from all ASEAN member countries. Now we would like to invite 4 people, 2 in online. First is a council member and chairperson of Safety and Health Committee ASEAN, Master Builders Association Malaysia, Mr. Michael Yap. I think he's already online. And also head of Standing Committee on Labor Inspection and OSH from Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, Mr. Gama Anom Yogotomo. I would like to invite you to sit here. And also the Senior Construction Service Development from Ministry of Public Service and Housing from Indonesia, Dr. Ratih Fitriani. And the last one, I would like to invite also online, Director of the Occupational Safety and Health Center, Dr. Madam Teresita S. Kukueko. She's from the First of all, I would like to invite Mr. Michael Yap from Council Member and Chairperson of Safety and Health Committee, ASEAN Master Builders Association Malaysia, to share views on the findings and recommendation of the research and your wish to share relevant information on the costs and benefits of OSH in construction sector. Please, we would like to limit your presentation. 10 minutes is maximum. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting us to your this so-called research report on economic justification on OSH. I will start my presentation with my slides. I think control on your side, my slides. It's okay, right. Let's share my slides. Okay, hi, this is John. Hi. Good morning. So basically, we talk about the under the panel discussion, the cost and benefit of OSH in construction sector. I'm Michael Yap, a member of Master Builders Association Malaysia, and also the council member and chairman of Safety and Health Committee, and of course, a member of the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health. Okay, next slide, please. So go straight to it. We have OSH Act, and this OSH Act is talk about employees' responsibility, which is an act enacted into our safety standards and so-called responsibility. Okay, according to Section 37.3, an employer or a trade union which contravenes the provision of the section is liable to the maximum penalty of 10,000 ringgit or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or both. So, of course, the whip is there already. So, it's part of the OSH Act in Malaysia. Next. And working together with all the industry, we have come up with some of the occupational safety laws and regulation. On your left, the first one is the Perintah Khas Ketua Pemeriksaan Bilangan 1 tahun. This one is basically a perintah from the DG of Occupational Safety and Health Malaysia. And then, of course, we have the Peraturan Kilang and Jentera Bowek 1986. And then followed by in the industry, we are working together with the Construction Industry Development Board, CIDB, where we come up with safety standards. And some of the safety standards over the years we found is that we have a lot of scaffolding accidents, false accidents. So we came up with this Construction Industry Standard number 22 with the safe use of scaffolding in construction. And then for the university also have CIS 23, safety use of force work and formwork in construction. This is a guideline to assist everybody look at safety aspect of using scaffold and the force work in construction. Of course, over the years, we've come with a lot of CIS standards which you can download by scanning the QR code there, all right? And then, of course, there is the BEM guideline on the roles and responsibility of a professional engineer for temporary works during construction for all professional engineers. This is a guideline so-called by the industry consultants for the consultants. Next. And in terms of costing, of course, every contractor or developer or owners are talk about, hey, how you going to cost safety into your project? So we come up with a guideline by the industry on the bill of quantity. So the CIS 27, it's occupational safety and health specification and bill of quantity for construction works. So basically everything is covered inside there as a basis of to be included in your tender for the pricing. Then on the specification of JKR job, we have the specs again for safety and health. Okay, and then of course, finally, recently we have launched the past 4 years the rules and responsibility of every individual involved in construction, whereby we have a guideline on OSHIM. We are similar with
Mr. Yap.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? Is it clear?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Back to the roles and responsibility of client, designer, and contractors under the OSHIM Act, which will be enforced in June 2023, where everybody is responsible for safety in the construction industry. All right, next. Now, this is a sample of the guideline for BQ for the construction safety and health. So what to price and so on, you can scan the QR code that you download. It's free to help the construction industry. Okay, next. Okay, so what are the highlights of CIS 27? So it allows for total of party adoption of the costing. Additional or omission may be affected to suit the project needs to be used as part of a tender document. Okay, it's a guideline for QS or engineers for infrastructure and engineering works project to pay bills of quantity with specifications. It complies to legal requirements and best practices. It can be applied to both building and engineering projects. Part of the client and designer OSH duty under the new OSHIM regulation, which will be enforced in June 2023. Okay, next. So we have, again, you have all this, next please. Yeah, we have all this standard regulation. How do you actually assess your safety condition or safety standards in your site? So we come up with this CIS 10, Construction Industry Standard number 10, Safety and Health Assessment System in Construction Charge, whereby this is an independent method to assess and evaluate the safety and health performance of a contractor in a construction works and project. Using this, we have grading 3, 4, 5 star by the industry. So it saves how safe your project site construction handling. Next. So under the OSHIM is to manage occupational safety and health risks at the planning and design stage, which is more effective, easy to sustain, and cheaper to do, rather than making changes later when the hazards become a real risk in the workplace. So you plan this before your work starts. The guideline on OSHIM is developed by Department of Occupational Safety and Health, DOSH, includes practical guidance to clients, designers, whether the architect and engineers, contractors on the management of safety and health and welfare while carrying out construction work of a structure. And then the next slide. So one of the key elements of OSHIM is to manage the risk by applying the risk assessment approach and the general principle of prevention, appointing the right people and organizing at the right time, making sure everybody has the information, instruction and training, and supervision they need to carry out their works in a way that secure safety and health. Duty holders cooperating and communicating with each other and coordinating their works from design stage until the site possession and construction. Consultants and workers engaging with them to promote, develop effective measures to secure safety and health welfare. We get all the key players in, the designer, the owner, and the contractors to come out to design and know how to build safety in a safe working environment. Next. So we all the while we calculate how much it costs, to do safety, meeting safety compliance, meeting safety standard. So in MBM, this is the thing that we've been doing for many years. So we do a different approach. Okay, how much will the accident cost if something happened at your site? So somebody said accident happened, malang lah, no? It's luck. No, accident is not luck. Accident is how you manage your site. So we DOSH to come up with this how to calculate accident cost. It's a calculator from DOSH, and barcode is scanning, and then you actually key all the elements if the accident happened and how much it will cost. So I did an example in my presentation in OSH. So next slide, please. So if you have a normal local worker, Malaysian, construction manager, maybe 15,000 K per month, example. So based on the calculator, if he have an accident, the accident will cost the company 358,136.39 cents. Okay, and then if he's a foreign worker, we will pay 4,000 per month. Okay, if you have an accident, it will cost the company on $149,159.15 Malaysian. Okay, so this cost does not include claimed by SOXO, which plus minus 6,000 fine, and the cost of sending back the workers or repatriation, which costs around 5,000. So this is the cost of an accident in Malaysia. All right, this is the guideline. So next slide. What are the effect of construction accident? Okay, so look at the hidden cost of effect of construction accidents. Click. Okay, the reputation of the company will be affected. The mental illness of workers will be affected. The cost of medical expenses, the cost of recruiting new workers, okay, the cost of training to those new workers, compensation costs, repair costs of all the material and so on, okay, additional supervision costs, consultancy costs, cost of accident investigation and time loss, okay. Next slide. So it's all about safety. We started 5 years ago. You think safety rules are pain, you try accident. Actually, it's much more costly. And safety has been around for more than 100 years. Okay, it's in look at Prabang, we in 2020 we have 3,958 cases, and 2021 we went up to 2,305. We decreasing, maybe due to the COVID, due to the the night activity, but it's decreasing lah. Next. Okay, this is the slide statistics of comparison numbers for fatal injuries. Look at Medan, okay, the figure is 81 deaths in 2020 and 70 deaths in 2021. Okay, next. Now this is a common fatal injury statistics, the type of accident. So terpijak, dilanggar, terkena objek, orang terjatuh, falling from height or falling object. This is the highest cost of accident. Okay. Next, in the whole industry, in terms of whole Malaysia, the majority percentage of the occupational disease is occupational noise-related hearing impairment, 7,000 plus. So this is statistics from the SOXO. Next. So sustainable and way forward, MBM program. So throughout the years, training with DOSH, Department of Occupational Health, CIDP and SOCTO, we have trained site supervisors since 2011. We have designated person in charge of completing training since 2017. MUX, Mobile Algorithm Working Platform since 2019. Lifting Supervisor since 2019. Scaffolding competencies course, seminar in various parts of Malaysia, in Penang, Johor, Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, and then the annual safety conference. Next. So as a voice of Malaysian construction industry, we ask ourselves, what more can we do, okay, to stop killing our resources, as safety is our responsibility always. And next, the final slide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yap. Just would like to summarize what Mr. Yap expressed. He explained about the number of regulations in Malaysia, also about the number of products in relation with the OSH standards. There are CIS 27 2019, CIS 10 to 2018, and also OSHCHIM. It's what the most important thing is that he said about the Master Builders Association Malaysia also provides a calculator to calculate the accident cost. It means it's very good, so that in ASEAN countries, not only in Indonesia but also in the Philippines, Vietnam, Myanmar, and others, also can, let's say, replicate or even imitate or innovate from that, because I think it is very good innovation. And another thing that Mr. Yap mentions, that he also explained about the statistics, also mentioned about the reports, which can be accessed by the public. I think it is very good for the examples of ASEAN countries, especially from Malaysia. And Mr. Yap presentation or share and views also mentioned that OSH is applied in construction sector in Malaysia. Thanks, Mr. Yap.
Thank you.
I would like to, after that, I would like to invite Pak Yoga, Mr. Yoga, to share your views in relation with the Dr. Hardianto's research.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak Hakim, for the time. From the employer sides, I would like to say, I would like to share the employer's takes on the cost and benefit of OSH in construction sector. So first of all, I thanks to the report before explained. Yeah, it's very good for us, and I would like to share about the background of the report highlights. Next, please. Yeah. Based on the report, we conclude that the construction is the third largest contributor to the Indonesian GDP. So this is among the largest in Asia. The second one, however, the use of the tech become a factor in increasing risk of accident. In those data, from 114,000 in 2019 to 177,000 in 2020. Moreover, it forms 80% of the construction project in Indonesia breach international legal standard. And there are 2 out of 4 companies in Indonesia which the cost expended of OSH are still bigger than benefit received. Yeah. So the problem challenge in the sector, first is tender process. We know that throughout construction project is very competitive. So most of the impact in the cost structure. And then the use of the subcontractor become alternative solution to reduce the cost and keep the price stay relevant. And then as a result, it's very hard to ensure all projects will monitor and fulfilled by the OSH standard. So there is 3 major challenges in the sector. And the last one, another issue is all project is also evaluated by KPK. Yeah. KPK is Corruption Eradication Commission, which only focus on the lower price. So this is quite difficult for employers. So from the employer side, we recommended to overcome the challenge. We need help to regulator, it means government, to implementing the tax incentive, and then establishing specific policies for the use of subcontractor to encourage a healthy working environment for subcontractor workers, and then enforcing initiatives that focus on the quality of human capital with OSH standard, and last but not least, creating more professional certification board for OSH expert. Currently there is only 1 PCB. I think that's all for employer side. I send back to Mr. Hakim. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gama Yogotomo. He is from Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, also mentioned about some issues, and also he even recommends some issues also in relation with the in Indonesia. There is a concern from him, concern from also the Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia, that in Indonesia there are only 2 of 4 companies which, let's say, apply the OSH, and then because it is also, there is a concern about the corruption issues, because the tender always win the lower price, the lowest price even. Thank you, Pak Yogo. Hoping this will be, hoping this will also be responded from Pak Hardianto again, and also colleagues from Malaysia and the Philippines. Thanks, Pak Andri. Pak Yogo, Pak Gama. Another another person who would like to share is Madam Teresa from in the Philippines. Are you already online, Miss
Yes,
Madam?
okay. Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Very good to see you again, Madam.
Yes.
Lastly, we met in Montevideo. Okay.
Actually, for the Philippines, because I just came in again to the Occupational Safety and Health Center, and this research was done last year, I am now going to ask our chief in the Safety Control Division who can shed more light because the Philippines did participate in this research of Indonesia, and she is and she's our focal person in construction. She will be the one reacting to the paper. May I ask Engineer Concepcion Santo Tomas to then present our reaction to the paper. Engineer Connie. Thank you.
Thank you po, Director Cacueco. First of all, I would like to thank Indonesia and for giving us the opportunity to share our views on the recently conducted research on economic justification of OSH implementation in the construction sector. So I would like to share my view on some results, like for example, the findings that the Philippines registered the lowest and the highest BCR in this research. So I think it is also mentioned in the report that there were difficulties in providing information or getting information from the respondents, and the reason for this would be that the respondents may not be equipped with the right information, or to provide on the costing and the quantification of OSH implementation in the Philippines. Okay. However, it should be noted that in construction projects, the persons knowledgeable on the overall cost of projects from the start of the project up to the completion are the project managers, cost engineers, and the estimators. They can provide the accurate information to be able to calculate the cost-benefit ratio of the project. I agree with the conclusion that the methodology is a viable tool to persuade and motivate the company owners and the project managers in improving the workplace safety and health. And it is worth noting that the costs avoided due to the implementation of OSH program would be the cost of the medical treatment, the hospitalization, rehabilitation, compensation cost, equipment repair and procurement, lost time due to injuries, and hiring of temporary staff. Also, looking at the data generated from this report, I look at the percentage of OSH investment, the cost of OSH investment versus the contract cost. For example, as for the data that was provided, PH1 has a contract cost of 1.5 billion, more than $1.5 billion, and the OSH investment is would cost $57,600, and it yielded a percentage of 3.64%. 3.64% of the OSH investment versus the total cost. However, and the CBR is 0.34. So same with the PH6 project with the percentage of cost, OSH investment of 3.53 versus the contract cost, and it yielded a CBR of 0.42, which is lower than 1. However, looking at the certain project, PH3, it yielded, and PH3, the percentage of investment of 0.05% yielded a CBR of 1.23. And we can, from this data generated, we can see that there are other factors that can be considered in ensuring the success or evaluating the success of the OSH program. Okay, so factors that can be considered would include the overall implementation of OSH program, the commitment of Safety and Health Committee, which include the top management. It is vital for the success of the OSH program. And we can also look at the accuracy of information provided by the respondents as to the expenses incurred. Well, that is on the quantification and identification of the cost. And we have also included as one of the factors the accuracy on the recording of accidents and illnesses in the construction projects. And it can be also noted that in the questionnaire, it did not ask if there's no questionnaire, there is no question in the material, in the tool, if the company is implementing a cost-benefit analysis in their programs. And this would be a material in explaining why some other companies or some projects would provide data on time and the necessary information that would that are necessary for the completeness of the questionnaire provided to the respondents. So with regard to the so this is as the contact person or the division that engaged with the national expert. These are our views for the conducted research on economic justification. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Teresa, and I forgot your name, Madam.
Engineer Santo Tomas. Engineer Concepcion Santo Tomas.
Miss Concepcion. Miss Concepcion.
Yes.
Is it okay if I call you Miss Concepcion? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Teresa. I think Pak Hardianto, again, I think it is a very good response and also share and views from the Philippines in relation with your research. So I think it is also very good if you, let's say, respond to also the information, to the clarification for the Philippines. But after that, after Ibu Rati and also after question from Vietnam, it might be Thai and also Cambodia, for example. And after that, you can give the clarification. Lastly, in the stage, I would like to invite Mbak Rati. Silakan Mbak Rati. Rati is from Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing.
First of all, I would like to thank you for giving us an opportunity to attend and give a feedback related with the research in construction safety cost. It's very interesting and comprehensive research, I think, and absolutely effective to encourage companies implementing safety on their construction project. There have been many things that some of the panelists have said before, and we also agree with that. Although only 6 samples in Indonesia were used as research object, it already represents small, medium, and large companies. Of course, the result of this research will be used to attract actors in the construction sectors in budgeting for construction safety costs, because it is true that the management usually wants to know if an OSH program is really needed and has cost-effective implementation. Okay, next. Since 2018, the Ministry of Public Works and Housing has carried out several transformations due to the large number of construction accidents at the end of 2017. One of the transformations is the establishment of the Construction Safety Committee, which aims to monitor and evaluate construction work at the national level with a high-risk project. The existence of this Construction Safety Committee is quite effective in reducing the number of construction accidents. The next transformation carried out by the Ministry of Public Works and Housing is to revise the previous ministerial regulation. There is a number of revisions to increase construction safety awareness, from Regulation Number 5, 2014, as mentioned in this study, become Ministerial Regulation Number 21 of 2019, and finally become Regulation Number 10 of 2021. Okay. The revision is based on the result of an investigation conducted by the Construction Safety Committee, where the lagging factor of implementation of construction safety is not only due to the fault of the contractor or subcontractor, but also there is the responsibility of the project owner, supervisor, and engineer. Furthermore, the Ministerial Regulation of Number 10 of 2021 emphasizes that all stakeholders are required to implement construction safety in accordance as their responsibility. This ministerial regulation also underlines the role of planner and designer on planning and design stage, where they are asked to develop a preliminary safety plan. One of the preliminary safety plan content is calculation the construction safety cost, which is part of the total budget for construction work. Okay, next. Yeah, next. Next. Okay. There is contents of the preliminary safety plan include construction work methods, inspection and testing standards, environmental management plan recommendation, traffic management plan recommendation, hazard identification, risk assessment and determining control, design standards, construction safety cost and personnel safety requirements, safety guideline on operation and maintenance. It is expected that by strengthening the role of the designer in calculating construction safety costs will improve the implementation of construction safety. Next. In the Ministerial Regulation Number 10, 2021, there is 9 construction safety programs are as following. First, safety plan development, socialization, promotion and training, work protection equipment and personal protection equipment, insurance and license, safety personnel, medical facilities, traffic management, consultation with experts regarding construction safety, and the other activities and equipment that related to construction safety risk control, including cost for testing and environmental inspection. Okay. Based on the study, our findings and recommendation are minor correction for regulation number 5, 2014, which is updated to become number 10 of 2021 regarding guidelines for construction safety management system. Second, expand the number of research objects, we hope, which includes construction project in each type of infrastructure, such as road, buildings, water installation system, etc. Because we think that they have different characteristics, it could be influenced in the PCR result. And third, add the information related to the presence of construction safety cost on the subcontractor. And the last but not least, comparison of budgeted safety programs to Ministerial Regulation number 10, 2021. Okay, it's been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals and to be able to present our perspective before you all. Thank you and good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Ratih. Let's applaud for 4 people, Madam Teresa, Pak Yogo, Pak Gama, and then also Pak Michael Yap, and another one is Mbak Ratih itself. From Ratih, from the Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing, we know that there are so many regulation also. There are also additional changes of regulation, amendments on regulations. Why? Because it indicates that the Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing would like to, let's say, improve the quality of OSH in the construction sector. It also indicates, it is also indicated from the construction safety documents. And from the beginning, especially in the design phase, they required the constructor, so the construction companies to equip the construction safety costs, which consists of 9 components. There are 4 at least: safety plan, insurance and licensing, traffic management, safety, consultation, costs, and other things. It means that she already explained that Indonesia, especially from the Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing, also would like, also is already on the right track to improve quality of OSH in the construction sector. I think before Professor Dedi or Dr. Hardianto Iridia study responded to the sharing from the panelists, I think I would like to invite the participants online from Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, Brunei Darussalam, or even from Singapore, to express the views about, especially about the study conducted by Professor Hardianto Iristadiatni. Any comments from Vietnam? Sorry, from Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand? Guys, friends of ASEAN from Cambodia, Thailand, Brunei Darussalam. In the chat box, is there any comments? There is no comments? Okay, now I would like to invite the participants here in Jakarta to express the comments from Professor Hardianto Iristadiati. Any comments from participants here in Le Méridien Hotel regarding the construction sector research? Resume ada online from who? From Jatim. Okay, from Jatim, from Indonesia, from Surabaya. Bapti Jatim. Yeah, please go ahead. 1 or 2 minutes only. Silakan. Please unmute. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the occasion. I just want to ask about the research.
Would you like to turn on your camera, Pak? Mas?
Okay.
Turn on.
Sure.
Please introduce your name, from where? Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the occasion. I'm Irfan from Surabaya, Indonesia. I just want to ask about the research. When you get the data from the company, how to validate the data? I mean, whether their answer is exaggerate or maybe they make wrong data. Is there any tools to validate the data? Because when I see the data, there is very small number, and the other hand, there is a very high number of PCR. That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Okay, now the floor is for Pak Dr. Hardianto.
All right. Let me first of all thank to all of my colleagues here from members of this project who have helped me and who have been participating in this research project. This has been a long duration project, and I sincerely appreciate all of the help and involvement in this project. And we finally have gone through this time, and we are able to complete this project. So again, I would like to thank all of you who have been participating in this project. I would like to point out that some of the challenges, or one or two of the main challenges, are that it is during the pandemic, it is somewhat difficult for most of us, or if not all of us, to collect data. There are a number of formal issues that we were facing. It is not easy for each of us to get contact to the company representatives, and also it is difficult to get some data. Some companies were kind of hesitant in providing their financial data, and it's also one of the things that makes this evaluation harder. So that is one of the first challenges. The second one is that I agree with the last comment in that we need to have some validation against the data that we are collecting. Each of the data that we are collecting actually is the responsibility of the national expert. So they should be able to answer this question, and they should also be able to kind of justify the quality and the reliability of the data. Lastly, of course, I have mentioned this several times, quantifying the benefits, especially those that are qualitative in nature. It is difficult for us to quantify the effects. However, based on our study here, we have responsibilities. We have to have certain knowledge, even though it's qualitative in nature, but we have, to some extent, we have to be able to quantify them using any practical means as possible. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing. I would like to also to stress out here in that the methodologies itself is one of the viable method that we could use, and it is not something new. What we have been doing here is actually to provide evidence that we can use such methodology. So again, it's not the methodology is a new methodology. However, the way we collect the data is something that we need to be aware of. I also would like to respond to the question from the Philippines. And again, I have my colleague here,
Ms. Rosemary Seva, who has helped me out with the project, and I would like to thank you for this, and of course to all of my colleagues here who have been involved in this research project. For the Philippines, we actually have noted that for the BCR companies with BCR values that are less than 1, actually they have a fairly high or percent, let me get back. They have a low BCR because they have a higher percentage of investment. And in their project, I believe their project has to do with hazard identification. So probably, I don't know, and if there are colleagues from the Philippines, they might be able to answer more clearly with regard to this question actually. But my understanding is that their project has to do with hazard identification, and probably the expense, they could outline the expense, they could explicitly state the expense. However, they were not able to explicitly quantify the benefits, and probably again because they are more qualitative in nature, so they have high BCR and low BCR and high percent of investment. For the medium or for the large size companies in the Philippines, they have high BCR, and that is because they have low percent of investment. Their project has to do with supervision and campaign, a safety campaign, and I believe that the supervision and safety campaign may be associated with only fairly low investment, but the return is probably much greater than that. So they can come up with fairly higher BCR values. Again, one of the challenges probably faced by the Philippines is the inability in collecting the data carefully, and they were not able to collect all the data sufficiently, in a sense that it is insufficient or difficult for them to convert all of the benefits into quantitative data. And I think this is there has been some response here in the chat box from Ms. Seva. She said something. I think some companies were not able to quantify intangible benefits. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, Ms. Seva. So that's one of the challenges that we all are facing actually with respect to fairly low BCR values. So that is probably my response for the comment from the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Hardianto, Professor Hardianto. I hope his response also makes us clear about the findings. Any question? Another question from here, from Le Meridian in Jakarta? Please, there is a lady also. Please introduce your name. No. Okay. Please introduce your name and then also 1 minute for your question.
Okay, thank you. My name is Murni from Ministry of Manpower. I just want to ask to Ibu Rati from Ministry of Public Work. Ibu Rati, is there any regulation or standard that state how many percentage of maybe the cost incurred to the us in one project? For example, is there any standard or regulation that state how much percentage of the cost relate to us? Thank you.
Thank you. Bu Rati? Bu Rati, silakan. Let's go ahead. Thank you, Bu.
Okay, thank you for the questions. In Indonesia, it's not there is not standard. There is no standard for the quantity of percentage of the cost of safety on a project. Just 9 construction safety program as following that I stated earlier. Maybe.
Okay. I have ever heard that somebody said from the construction company that we have 1.5% until 2% to allocate for the OS in the project, OS construction.
Yes, but it's not valid anymore.
Okay, thank you.
So there is a new number, new figure
Yes.
on that. Okay, I think it is also good practice. It is also improvement from the Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing in Indonesia, which can be replicated and also through all ASEAN members. I was told that there is a question from Myanmar. Please, please read it. Yeah, okay. Please, Madam, please introduce yourself, and then 1 or 2 minutes for the question or reviews.
Yes. Yes, I'm generally on inspection department. My name is Nemo Shui. You can call Mo. So my question is relating with a research report. I found there is a small enterprise, medium enterprise, and large enterprise, but it's different with the country by country. So how you classify these size enterprises relating with the investments or number of employees? Because the different country have different standards. So after collecting these data, how do you justify to get a best data? Thank you.
You're welcome. Prof. Dedi, I think this is the question for you. Tolong, Mike, please, the mic. Mike. Thanks, friends of Myanmar.
All right, let me respond to the question from Ms. Mo Shui from Myanmar. I appreciate the question. I would like to respond to this question. Basically, we are dividing all the companies into, or we are classifying into their classes, small, medium, and large size companies based on the number of employees. So for those who have less than 50 people are considered as small, whereas the medium-sized company consists of those with employees ranging from 50 to 200 employees. The large-sized companies are those with greater than 200 employees. And in particular, again, as we mentioned earlier, we were trying to see if there is a correlation between size of the companies with the BCR values. However, we did not find such conclusion, and statistically they are not significant. However, the greatest BCR values are typically provided by the medium-sized company, right? Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry, my mistake. The largest mean BCR values has been obtained by data coming from the large size companies. So the average is 2.9, but it is also, please note that even though the large size company has the largest BCR value, especially some of the data come from the Philippines. So 1 or 2 of the data has a fairly small BCR. And also it is worth mentioning here that the average BCR value is higher for the small size company compared to the medium size counterparts. And we do not know exactly
what happens here, because it is also not the intention of this study to find out more on this. However, it is our speculation that some of the programs that are conducted by the small size companies could be associated with fairly low cost, but in return they are able to list some of the benefits much better than the medium-sized or large-sized company, in a sense that the ratio of the benefits are much higher than the costs that they have already spent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Haryadi. There is also a question from Dr. Yuka Ujita in the chat box. She's asking, does ASEAN OSNET have a plan to develop some guidance materials on workplace OS projects in construction on the basis of the research results? That is her asking, her question. Any response? Somebody from ASEAN OSNET? Dr. Idam, for example? Please, colleague, please help Pak Idam, the director of OS testing, the mic.
Thank you, Pak Hakim. Thank you for question from Mrs. Yuka. Okay, yes, I think related with research, we have planned the next year, we try to follow up what we do, or the best way to continue upgrade and increase related with OS, especially on construction site. And we also have training program for personnel who work at construction sector.
Thanks, Pak Idam. That's Pak Idam's response, Yuka. So I think it is very good also for us in ASEAN to start, if I refer to what Yuka mentioned in her explanation, her presentation this morning, and she said that it is very good to consider about the national OS policy, or to apply national OS policies, national OS system, provide or establish or develop national OS profile, and also national OS program. I think this continuation or this follow-up of this the research results is needed. And then if it is needed, I think it is also to help the member of ASEAN members to starting to integrate OS in construction sector in national OS program. I think it is valuable for the research is valuable for ASEAN members, and it is very good discussion. And thanks again for Dr. Haryadi and team for the research, and also Pak Gama from Chambers of Commerce in Indonesia, from Ibu Rati from Ministry of Public Works and People's Housing, and also Mr. Michael Yap from Malaysia, from Master Builders, and also Madam Teresa and her colleagues from the Philippines, and friends of Myanmar, and participants here in Le Meridien offline meeting and also in the online meeting. I think what we have resulted today is very invaluable for ASEAN, especially for OS in construction sector. And we expect that the results will contribute to the betterment of OS situation in Indonesia, in ASEAN, especially in construction sectors in ASEAN. I think it is very good results, and this is very fruitful discussion. Thank you, and now the last one is that please applaud for all people for here and also in online. Thank you. Back to you, Fitri.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Hakim and all the panelists. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end, and I would like to invite the Director of Occupational Safety and Health Testing, Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia, to give his closing remarks. Mr. Muhammad Idam, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished representative and national expert from ASEAN member states, distinguished representative of ASEAN Secretariat, representative of ASEAN expert, Special Ms. Yuka Uchita, distinguished representative of Indonesian Occupational Health Doctors Associations, distinguished lead expert Mr. Hardianto, Iridiastati and team, distinguished senior official from Ministry of Manpower, Republic of Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. With a deep feeling of gratitude to the Almighty God, because of His blessing, we have been granted this opportunity together until the end of the workshop and launch of research report on economic justification of occupational safety and health program in the construction sector. It is my great pleasure and honor to witness the outcome of this workshop and deliver my closing remarks. On behalf of the Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to representative of Asian member state, researcher, expert, and all participants that your participation and commitment to this workshop has been extremely valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that despite its substantial growth, the construction sector remains one of the most hazardous places to work. The construction industry in developing nations is probably a sector that has received marginal attention with respect to safety and health in the workplace. One of the major challenges in providing a safe and healthy working environment has to do with the cost of implementing occupational safety and health program in the workplace. Research on the economic justification on OSH implementation in the construction sector has been conducted to evaluate the benefit of an OSH project in the construction sector from an economic perspective in Asian countries. I am very pleased to know the result that show most of the OSH program in this study were in fact beneficial from an economic point of view. I truly believe that by providing much safer and healthier workplaces could not be seen solely as an economic burden to the company, but most of OSH program can actually be justified economically. Finally, on behalf of the Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia, I express my gratitude to Asian member states and relevant parties who have contributed on the implementation, finalization, and publication of this research project. Special thanks also expressed to Mr. Hardianto and team who have led this research project. Hopefully, this research result will motivate the management of construction company to carefully evaluate their OSH program as well as a basis for policymakers to create national or regional policy on implementing OSH at construction sector and AMS. I hope that Asian OSHNet can continue to conduct joint research focusing on other areas such as occupational diseases and so on, in addition to continuing to carry out other activities like training, seminars, etc., in accordance with its program area coordinator. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Idam, for your remarks. Lastly, I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here today, and I hope to see you in another ASEAN OSHNet event. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, sebagai informasi bahwa panitia telah menyediakan makan siang yang disediakan tepat di depan ruang